Jordan, it seems like every time you guys are here, you're in a different conference. Just going back 6-7 years ago, CCHA Hockey East, but the stability has been winning. It's been in defense. I guess, beginning of the year, what was the message? Same old Notre Dame?
Beginning of the year, we knew we had a really good group coming back from last year. We only lost a couple guys. We knew we were going to have a really solid team, and just we knew what we had to do, like the certain way we had to play, and just earn it every night.
Guys, make sure you identify yourselves when you ask the questions. Josh?
Yeah, Jake, what do you expect out of Michigan Tech this weekend? Anything in specific that you guys are focused on?
Maybe not anything specific, but they're a really hard-working team. Pretty similar group. We played them last year, and they're a very tough team to play against, and it's going to be a really good challenge for us, and we're going to have to give it our all to come out with a good outcome.
Jordan, talk about winning the Big Ten, what that meant for the team and what that was like, the atmosphere.
Yeah, winning the Big Ten was a big accomplishment for the team. It was one of our goals at the beginning of the year. We won it at home in front of our home crowd. I think it was a sold-out building. It was an amazing atmosphere, and the Big Ten tournament was done right this year.
Darren from Notre Dame Radio. This is for Jake and Andrew. Just going through this experience the last couple of times, is there something you can feed off your past experience that will help you or maybe younger teammates over the next couple of days?
Yeah, I think going through this the past 2 years, it's I think the biggest thing for us is the momentum swings. We saw them the past 2 years, and against Michigan, and last year, especially against Minnesota, we were down 2, and sort of came back and got our legs going and got our game back together. So we're looking for a good start this weekend, and that'll be the biggest thing for us. And we're a confident group. We've been through this before now for 2 years, and we just got to know throughout the year we've done such a good job of getting the outcome we needed. And if things are going tough or for battling adversity, we just got to know what kind of team we are and what we've accomplished this year, and I think that'll help us.
Andrew?
I liked that response. Yeah, that's not much more to say.
Care to add to that at all?
No.
Just want to make sure you're asked. Josh?
Yeah. Josh Stephen, College Hockey News. Andrew, talk about this year. You guys have maybe you guys don't have a lot of possession this year, but you guys have a lot of possession, but you guys still get the job done. And does it feel like a little different this year, or than maybe last year's team? Or is it still the same all winning formula?
I don't think we changed too much. I think we play the Notre Dame style, and we've taken pieces from last year, and come into this year and done the same thing, and excelled in different areas, maybe a little bit more than others. But I think overall we've done a good job of working hard and playing a good way, good Notre Dame way this season.
You guys haven't played Michigan Tech since last year. I assume all of you have played against them before. Any similarities? Do you see any matchups any of the student athletes want to talk about playing against the Huskies?
Yeah, I think playing them from last year, like I said, they're just a very tough team to play against, very competitive. You can tell they're all bought into the team goal, and just like I said, it's going to be a really tough opponent, and they're on a winning streak right now. And yeah, it's just going to be a really great game tomorrow, and we're going to have to bring it our all to win.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Thanks, guys. Head coach Jeff Jackson is in his 13th year at Notre Dame, 19th year overall in coaching collegiate hockey, 475 career wins, and 2 NCAA championships when he was with Lake Superior State. Coach, why don't you give us an opening statement about being here in the Bridgeport Regional and about your team, and then we'll fire away with some questions.
We're thrilled to be in the tournament again. Obviously, it's it's always the culmination of your season. We had a great stretch in the first half of the season that allowed us to pull ahead in the Big Ten. regular season standings, and winning the regular season championship, I was a real feather in the cap of these guys, because the conferences, as attested by the number of teams that are in the tournament, and there certainly could have been one or two more. You know, I think it was a real testament to these guys and just the resiliency. And we had a little bit of a tough stretch in the latter stages of February, but we had clinched the league, and you know, I was concerned about the way we were playing, but the bye week certainly helped us, and I thought we played a good game against Penn State at home, and then you know, to win the regular season, the playoff championship against a really talented Ohio State team. Again, is a lot of credit goes to the guys for, you know, what they accomplished. So we're thrilled to be here. Anytime you make the NCAA tournament, you know, you're always playing against top quality teams, and this year will be no different. You know, I mean, 1 through probably 25 or 30 even in college hockey is very, very tight. So, you know, it's immaterial to me as far as the seeding goes. The only thing it really allows you is to have a nicer locker room for the most part. So, which is not that important, but you know, we'll be ready to go tomorrow, guys. I'm sure they've been looking forward to getting back to the NCAA tournament since the last season concluded.
Sounds like you liked what you saw in the Big Ten and you like what you're seeing going forward. Talk a little bit about the conference.
Conference was outstanding. I mean, it was such a, you know, it was great being in Hockey East. I mean, Hockey East was a tremendous conference, but it just made so much more sense playing teams that are within our geographical area. This weekend was a prime example, or this, you know, traveling yesterday with a nor'easter coming in, and we experienced that several times when we played in Hockey East. So it was nice not having to deal with that until yesterday, of course, our only trip out east. And you know, I think that we were playing a lot of traditional rivals. We had a few in Hockey East as well, especially Boston College, but you know, we're playing teams that we played against in the CCHA, Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State. But you know, I think that getting back to playing those teams, and then we've built a little bit of a rivalry with Minnesota and Penn State over the last couple of years, non-conference wise. So for us, it makes a lot of sense. It's been great for our team. It's been great for our fans. You know, we play in front of big crowds and in big venues every weekend, and certainly high quality programs. So it's been a real plus for us. You know, regardless of the success we had this year, it'll continue to get more and more challenging, because you've got programs in the Big Ten that are going north. You know, they're all heading north. There's not any weak programs in the conference, and it'll be a challenge, and probably even more so as time goes on.
Questions?
Jeff, Joe Maloney, College Hockey News. We don't get to see you guys a lot playing out in Boston anymore. We've missed you, but when we look at box scores, that's how we can have teams that win as much as you guys do don't often have the shot disparity that you guys have. Was this just a matter of Cale having a year, or was it, you know, were you guys leading a lot? Kind of what goes into that shot disparity?
You know, I think the top leading Corsi teams in the National Hockey League are not making the playoffs, so I think that tells you about Corsi. You know, I think that one thing that's happening in college hockey for some reason, I don't see it in the National Hockey League as much, but it seems like a lot of teams are starting to shoot the puck from all different places, all different angles, shooting pucks from, you know, I'm not concerned so much about shot attempts as I am about scoring chances. It's a much bigger statistic for my benefit, you know, because shot attempts, you know, it may dictate possession to some degree, but you know, we time possession in the offensive zone, and if our team is a plus on weekends, I'm good with that. So that's, and we've been a plus team in the offensive zone quite a bit as far as actual seconds in the offensive zone for each team. So for me, you know, of course he's got its value, but I think it's good for pro hockey when you're trying to evaluate for trades and things like that with individuals that, you know, generate a lot of possession time or scoring or shot attempts or shooting the puck. But there's a lot of shots. I mean, we faced 50 shots a night at Penn State, and we went back and counted the shots, and there was probably more like 35. So that's another thing that you have to take into consideration. You don't have National Hockey League statisticians taking stats every night either. So yeah, it could be an important stat, but like I said, if you look at the National Hockey League, I think 3 of the top 4 teams that are not making the playoffs are the top Corsi teams.
And as far as Cale goes, just the season he's had for you guys, was this something you anticipated when the season started?
I knew he was a good goaltender. Did I know he was going to have this kind of a season? Not quite. You know, we knew when we recruited him, and we recruited him 2 years ago because we were concerned that we might lose Cal Peterson after his sophomore year. You know, and I know Buffalo put a little push on him to do that. So, but you know, it was a good year for Cal, even though he didn't play last year. And I don't think he'd be having the kind of success he's having this year if he didn't have the attitude that he had last year and the work ethic. And I was the goalie coach last year. Unfortunately, I had Zach Isaac this year, but I was basically working with the goalies all the time. So, you know, and he was into it every session, you know, and he practiced hard, he worked hard, he had a great attitude, and that's rare today's game, especially when you got a full scholarship goalie that's not playing. But he did. I never heard him complain once or come to me, you know, asking why he wasn't getting opportunities. I think he recognized that, you know, Cal was a great goaltender, and I think he learned from Cal, both from a technical standpoint and from an attitudinal and work ethic standpoint. So they become close friends, and I think that they fed off each other, and they talked about goaltending. And you know, I'm still a little bit old school in goaltending, so their terminology and things, you know, were different than mine. But all in all, I think that you know, Cale earned it this year. You know, first 6 weeks of the season, I was switching the two young guys that I had, and Cale kind of had the head start when we went into conference play against Ohio State. He stood on his head that weekend in Columbus, and he didn't look back. And it was impossible for me to take him out with him, you know, on that streak that he was on. So credits to him. You know, he's earned that opportunity, and he's taken full advantage of it.
Coach, could you talk about Pete and Alex, and not only their development along the blue line, but what they meant to the second power play unit the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think both of them had some ups and downs this year. Andrew, you know, after the World Juniors, I think dropped off a little bit. Matthew had some really good moments early in the year, and then he was up and down a bit. But over the last 6 weeks, I think they both come into their own. They are similar type of players. They both are good skaters. They both have good puck skills. They have good vision. And I think that right now is they're playing with a lot of confidence. And they've certainly elevated our defense because they're both young, freshman and sophomore. And you know, our defense is also, you know, one of the reasons why we've had the success we've had. We've got a good balance back there of guys that are offensive, good balance of guys that are defensive, and we've got some guys that are in between. And I think that Matt and Andrew are both in between. I think they're guys that can play defensively and yet still be effective offensively and do a good job on the power play because they have good vision and both have good shots.
Any other questions for Coach Jackson? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.